on Super FM 92.7. And we've been talking about the new insurance policy that the federal government has just talked about with the Insurance Industry Reform Act of 2025 that mandates all public buildings to be insured. And as a matter of fact, this has become a law, and it has even become a criminal offense if you don't insure your property. It's because the failure to do this comes with a penalty of 1 million naira or 12 months imprisonment if, as a landlord, you do not insure your property. And it's even very, very surprising to see that somebody would work so hard and save up for 5-10 years to buy a property of millions, 100 million, 50 million, and you do not think of insuring that property against any form of hazard. It is very insane. It is very, very insane. That's why if the federal government is coming to put this as a law, then it's truly a welcome development. And one of the reasons why you must also insure your property is for your own good. It's a form of protection for your investment. So if anything happens to that property, your insurance company will reimburse you, will sort of compensate you for the loss that you incur in the event of that hazard. And one of the reasons why you must also insure your property is that you are insuring it against any sort of hazard like fire, flooding. We've seen cases where lots of properties in Lekki becomes flooded during the rainy seasons. I know of people who could not even live in their house because the flood took over the whole place during the heavy rains, and they had to move out. So that's the place where insurance companies come in to pay you some sort of compensation. And one of the things that even happens is during that distress period, insurance companies can even provide you an alternative accommodation pending when they are able to either fix your property to make it habitable or replace the building for you. We've seen cases where even people who insure their car, whenever their cars break down on the road, insurance company, I know of the UK particularly, where a friend of mine, the car broke down and he had to call the insurance company right there and there. A makeshift car was brought to him right there to get him home. His own car that broke down was taken for repair. That's one of the things why you must, think of insuring those your assets. It's very, very important. Also, in the case of building collapse too, this year we've had about 4 cases of building collapse, particularly in Lagos. The one that happened in the Oriwu in Lekki, another one that happened in Kosoko in Bega, another one in Ikorodu, different parts of Lagos State, and that's where the insurance company come in to take care of those that lost their life in that process, and also to take care of the loss incurred by the owner of such buildings, because natural disasters happen, accidents happen. Even though we don't plan for it, but it happens, and you must look for ways to protect your investment before it happens. We've seen cases of people that lost their cars to theft or by accident, and at the end of the day, they don't get any sort of compensation by any insurance company because that car was not insured. We're not talking about the third-party insurance. We're talking about the comprehensive insurance, where you buy a car and you pay a premium to insure that car. So if you buy a car of about, say 10 million, the insurance company can ask you to pay maybe 300, 400, 500,000 for premium to protect that car. So in the case of any accident, your insurance company will give you the value of the car or replace the car for you. So the issue of insurance in this part of the world we need to go on with the advocacy. Is becoming very popular by the day. It's becoming more popular by the day. And when you insure your property, one of the things it gives you is peace of mind. Sometimes we see cases of fire outbreak in properties, and you have no cause to worry, because even if fire happens, you would not lose everything in total. The insurance company would get you covered. It also the insurance importance also is also it gives some sort of protections to the tenants living in the property. You can remember the case of the girl that passed on in Lekki Phase 1 earlier this year, where the overhead tank collapsed on her while she was sleeping. So I can imagine that property had insurance.
Yeah.
The girl will have been taken care of. Mm-hmm. The property also, the landlord will have nothing to worry, because it's just going to be the insurance company who comes in and takes care of everything. So let me welcome my co-host to the show, King Gray.
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good to see you.
Good to be here. It's odd that the government has to enforce insurance, because I feel like
very
it's
hard.
something that
Yes.
most people should want to have on any asset or anything that they're
Yes.
investing in. Especially, there's a financial threshold that you commit to something that
Yes.
you would want to have it secure, have a backup, have a
Yes.
plan B.
Yes.
And I don't see why, if every day, on day to day, we have backup plans and something to support it, and then for insurance, for investments,
Yes.
some of us now don't. So it's good that this policy is being put in place. And then it's also important that Nigerians now get informed and educated on the different types of insurance that are available to
Yes.
us, because property owner insurance is different from the tenant's insurance.
Tenant insurance.
Right.
Yes.
And even as a tenant, the insurance you use on the property and the assets that you have within your property are two different insurance options, like for your cars, for your gadgets,
Yes.
and then for your home. And
I
then
agree.
that's that the insurance that the property owner is also going to put cover, there's certain things that it covers and certain things that it doesn't, so that you don't
Yes.
some people don't go and say, oh, if there's insurance, why are we paying caution fee?
Yeah, exactly. So the interesting side to this is this new insurance law. It even covers ongoing construction work.
Oh yes.
Even properties under construction needs to be insured before you get building approvals. Before you get
From the onset, from the
onset,
very
yeah. It
conception
has now
of the
become a law.
project.
If you're applying for your building approval from LAPSGA or from fiscal planning, they want to see that you've insured the property you want to build. And it's also, I think it also kind of add value to the property. It increases the value of your property if you're insured.
It's tremendous. As a realtor myself, I
Yes.
tend to advise my
Yes.
clients to insure. When you're coming on board, you're like, okay, what insurance do you want?
Yeah.
What do you want covered in this transaction?
Yeah.
And the truth is, a lot of times people assume that insurance is a lot. It's like, oh, we have to pay insurance. How much is it going to be? It's often a small token, less than
Sometimes
1%,
less than 1%.
less than 1% of the value of the asset. Yeah. And so it's something that's okay. Yes, what if nothing happens, or what if something does happen?
It does happen, and things happen. And I think the where this new law, generated controversy last week, is from tenants or from landlord who will now take advantage of this law to start increasing rent.
Yes. It's all about information and education.
Yes.
Because if you're well informed, you will know that it's not even up to 1% of your rent.
Yes. So some
It's
landlords
less
will now
than
say,
that.
because I want to insure this property, you're paying a rent of 1 million. They'll now start to tell you to pay 3 million because they want to insure.
Well,
because landlords take advantage of the smallest things in this country.
which is why it's always
just
important
to rip off tenants.
Just true. Which is why it's always important to have an advocate, a professional that advocates for you, either
Yes.
a legal advocate or
Yes.
a property,
Advisor,
advisor, advocate, someone to speak on your behalf
Yes.
that specializes and understands the situation and says, look, you don't have to do this.
Yes.
And then they can now pull up the sections within the the policies that it falls under, and then
Yes.
people can say, okay, yes. And by the time you speak to a property owner who tells you, I want to take my property from 1 million naira rent to 3 million naira rent,
yeah.
and you go and you speak, you know how it is in Nigeria now. By the time you speak to the person and make them know that, look, we didn't just come to Lagos.
Yes.
So
Because they'll factor that money
everybody will
into
now
the
laugh
rent.
and say, okay,
So,
let's calm down. What can we do?
Yes.
And then they will now bring up their real intent, like, okay, look, I wanted to increase the rent before now.
Yes.
And then everybody can sit down and start
Yes.
negotiating the 20% increase, 30% increase, or 50% increase.
Increase.
Yeah.
Which is so. I think all this borders on how we protect our investments.
Yes.
And we cannot overemphasize how important this policy is. I've said it. It's just in this country that we don't respect insurance.
Quick question.
Yes, please.
You that you're asking, how often, how many gadgets do you have insured? Car?
Okay, well, so let me tell you.
As much as you find a lot of people saying,
I'm a Nigerian, but in my head, I'm a Western guy.
okay.
So because I'm used to the UK system a lot, I understand how important these things are.
Yeah.
I used to be a very big fan of insuring my cars before now. But over time, Nigeria happened, and I felt, you know what, let me insure these things with God. but that doesn't take away the importance of it. The fact that I do third party insurance.
See, that's what I was even going to say.
Comprehensive insurance
That third
is more
party
important.
insurance, honestly, I feel it's one of the biggest. I don't want to say scams, because third party insurance, yes, I agree, it does cover something to an extent, but a lot of times
You're on your own.
Have the accident first.
A lot of times you're on your own. Yeah,
and it's like, okay, but I understand, Sha, because for me, there are sometimes that when you're paying for some of this insurance, you're just thinking, I didn't even use this thing last year.
And it's when you pay. It's when you pay it like 1, 2, 3 times. You now feel like you're just dashing
the insurance money.
But
True.
you never know. You can never be too careful.
Yes.
You never know when you can be in your car and somebody just hits you from the back. How do you want to avoid?
That's what happened. That's not what happened to me last week.
It happens a lot in this Lagos. You just hear at the back
and
of
then
the car.
It's not your fault. Just
how
somebody
do you want to
reverse
avoid that action from happening? So what do you now do? And your car is a total mess from behind.
That's what in fact, it leads me to what happened last week.
Yeah.
I think last week Wednesday, I think I told you when I had the accident. I was parked and someone just, for some reason, reversed. I think he was probably on his phone. And then when he came out, he was, of course, you come and look. Me, I came to look, even if we both know the accident has already happened. And then we looked at it and I said, do you have insurance? He said, eh? By the time he said, I said, don't worry. I will give you the number of the person that will fix it. But by the time I was trying to call, they were calling back and forth. At the end of the day, I just said, you know what, let me call my insurance company. Yeah. And that's where we are now.
And let me tell you,
imagine if I did have
how
insurance.
Proactive are these insurance companies too? You know, I was in a restaurant in Lekki Festival like a few weeks ago, and this lady had 1 or 2 cocktails. She was on her way home, and she hit my car.
Yes.
And I was on the call, but I was just standing outside the car park. So it was too quick for me to even tell her, Madam, what are you? Before I could say anything, I had a loud bang on my car. And the next thing she goes, oh, I'm going to call, don't worry, I'll call my insurance. I said, Madam, I'm not doing
insurance.
Let me tell you, because a lot of people question the quick response, the real-time response they get from insurance company. That's why I told them, Madam, I'm not waiting for insurance company. No. You're going to pay my money and now. And that's what happened. That's what happened. Before you know it, because am I going to be driving this car around the way it is like this till your insurance company answers me? Or am I going to be doing Uber?
Well, the way insurance companies work, right? Because I've had that experience. Hope that does not, because the more accidents you have, it impacts the amount you be paying with insurance. Anyway,
yeah, of course. The more the damage, the more.
Yes, especially if you've had accidents once, twice, 3 days. That's like this one does not know how to drive. Yes. They now increase how much you have to pay.
And in a state like Lagos, where people will just buy a car the first day and start driving.
And some people don't know how to drive.
You will not see any learner permit on the car. They just start to drive. Because they have the money to buy a car, and you just start to see the havoc on the road, particularly on this island. All these island,
people will just be turning. You're not trafficating. You're changing lanes anyhow.
Changing lanes.
Let's not deviate.
Yes, please.
About now. So the importance of insurance is something that a lot of Nigerians have had bad experiences with, right? But what you find is that there are still Nigerians that invest in it, no matter what it is, and there are those of us that have benefited from it. Yes. With the, like what I was saying, with the issue of an accident that happened in the past, what then happened was, as soon as it happened, the repair was done, right? And then the cost of the repair was shared with the insurance company. So you don't always have to wait for them to go through their long research process. As far as once it happens, you document it properly. You capture what has happened. You capture how it happened. Thank God for phones. In the past, I think you had to do the police reports and all of that. You document all of that, and then when it's being repaired, if you go to a reliable auto repair shop, they then have your receipt, and then you show this is how much it costs for this. This is what was damaged, bumper, radiator, whatever it is. This is how much it costs, and then they will sometimes they negotiate, sometimes they just pay you the money based on your insurance.
So one of the interesting sides to this also is for property insurance. In case of a fire outbreak.
Yes.
And you now become suddenly homeless. and your property is insured.
They're
As an
supposed to
insurance
provide
company, what
alternative.
they do, they provide alternative
Yes.
accommodation for you.
Yes.
Depending when they reimburse you or they rebuild that one for you.
And even abroad, they provide a car that can move you around while your vehicle is being being repaired.
I've been stranded somewhere in London before, and myself and a friend, the insurance company immediately sent in a makeshift car to where we were, and they also sent a towing vehicle to tow the other car. And the car was with my friend for about 2 months until they replaced his car.
It. So I think another thing that this policy might help do and change is help do I say empower or embolden insurance companies? Because I feel a lot of them, first of all, people might not invest in insurance companies as much as they could, right? Because they feel like, how many Nigerians actually, based on the percentage of Nigerians to our population, how many of them would actually invest in insurance, right?
Yes.
So for them to start offering alternative apartments, alternative cars, and quick responses, it's a the dynamic is different. But now now that it's being enforced, that means that every property, every home is going to be covered to an extent, right?
And if you fail to do it, there's a fine.
There's a fine for
1 million naira fine or 12 months imprisonment.
And the population of Nigerian real estate. You know how large it is, and it's still growing based on our population. So you know that there is a lot of money to be made. So now the competition is going to start. You will have insurance companies throwing in perks to say, look, this is why you should choose us. This is why you should come for us. The same way they aggressively advertise insurance outside in other parts of the world, right? And by the time we start having those things, that's when you now start having people choose, I'd rather go for this company, or I'd rather go for this other company based on these benefits, one or two benefits that you get, whether it's fire insurance, flood, because I think the insurance properties vary based on what you want to cover.
Based on what you want to cover.
Yes, based on what you want to cover.
And some are comprehensive.
Some, exactly.
And let me also say that, let me also speak about the business side of this. I think this is going to create, a lot of jobs for insurance companies.
Definitely.
And it will also create a lot of jobs for estate valuers too, because that's the truth, because they are the ones that value the assets.
True. So, that is true.
But away from the business side, it just makes sense that you have an investment and you are protecting that investment. So if you have an investment and you are not insuring it, that means you are open to a lot of risk.
Just like life insurance, because a lot of Nigerians don't believe in life insurance. They feel it's a negative foreshadowing of some sort, or
it's an African thing now. So anything, let me tell you, Nigerians or Africans
you do
don't
life
like
insurance.
anything that has to do with life or death. They don't want to hear it, even though that's the most prominent reality. That's the most based on I was telling somebody yesterday, no matter how you take life seriously,
because life expectancy in Nigeria is actually quite low compared to most other countries.
No matter how we take life seriously, nobody's getting out of this life alive. Nobody. So when you know that this is going to happen, why not prepare? Do a life insurance on yourself. So if anything happens to you, your family is compensated in somewhat. I mean, your wife or your children get some check. It's just for them to have something to fall back to. And that's why in advanced countries you will see somebody who on a very good day just wakes up in the morning, walk up to a funeral shop and start to make a funeral arrangement. It's not because she wants to kill herself in that same day, but because she wants to have a befitting burial. Because she wants to have everything well spelled out. This is where I want to be buried. This is the kind of clothes I want to wear. This is the kind of gathering I want. It's not because she's praying, wishing herself bad, but because it's the way they think ahead.
Same thing with home insurance. And property, it's not like you want the house to fall
Nigeria,
down.
we like when things happen suddenly and then we now become unaware and we're now lost. Which thing I could do now? Then you're now so you're open to more. In fact, that's when you're open to depression. Imagine that you've saved all your life to buy a property of 500 million or 300 million,
and then something
happens, and you're back to square one. So please, where do you want to start? And now you're already 50 years old or 55 years old. Where do you want to start? And you're a retiree or even close to the old age. How do you want to start all over again? But if you have that covered, the insurance company just reimburses you. It just takes a matter of weeks. And that's where we also need to call on our insurance companies to be proactive in this response too.
I think that's something that they will build.
We don't want to start hearing English when it happens. As it hot, make I they collect my money back or my property back. So no stories, no long grammar.
I think that's something that
we
they
have
will
to come
build
and we have to
towards.
visit the site, the scene of the incident. We need to speak to our head office. We need to call our H. I don't want to, as they ought, make how they collect my hand. That's when it gives everybody confidence to want to renew their insurance next time when it expires. So that's so.
And even with developers and project managers that might be building or having construction work that involves life being at risk.
Being at risk, yeah.
Those sort of insurance also need to exist, and I don't think that is really that type of insurance is really popular here in Nigeria. That's employee insurance.
It is important, but people don't don't just give it attention. It is even as a CEO, your staff must have insurance. If you want to get some kind of contract in this country, they want to see your insurance policies on all your staff that you want to use for that project. They want it comes like it's now becoming a package. It's now becoming a criteria or a prerequisite to get.
I saw something on social media some weeks back where a man was working on a construction. They're constructing at a building, and I think there was a live wire somewhere around. And in some way, I don't know how the accident happened, but he fell onto it. First of all, I don't even know how he wasn't properly.
No safety tools and everything,
protection and any of that.
We see that a lot around.
Yes, we do.
Just few months ago, I had to. There was an incident that happened somewhere in Festac. Two plumbers were called to come and wash an overhead tank. This overhead tank is made of metal. They entered the tank and they were washing the tank. So so they entered the tank and they were washing the tank. So while they were doing the washing, we didn't even know they took hours to come out. We didn't even know that both of them were dead in that tank because that tank there was a leaked wire somewhere.
So electricity.
They were electrocuted right in the overhead tank. This happened in Festac a few months ago. And that's how they died.
Another thing I feel this insurance policy will also do is increase the safety measures that developers put in place. Because by the time you have to put an insurance will audit the project and demand that you put proper scaffolding, not those
not those bamboo and all that.
Oh goodness.
Yeah, so
not those scanty ones. Proper scaffolding, proper kitting with the helmets and the boots and the right attire, and harnesses, the right attire. And by the time you have those, insurance will then say, okay, yes, we can cover.
So I think that's how far we can take on the show today. It's been a very wonderful time with my co-host King Gray, and we've talked about insurance. And I think that this topic has to continue.
Yes, it
has to continue. Thank you for listening to us.
It has been fun as always.
Thank you so much. We'll see you same time next week.